Hello, everybody, and welcome to our check-in. I realize today is a little bit later than normal. I've been really busy working on curriculum and preparing for my summer job. So I'm sitting outside. My wife and kids are at the beach today, so I had the opportunity to get some work done, but now it's like overcast. I think it just rained, and I'm just enjoying sitting outside just for a minute, not looking at a monitor. I mean, obviously I'm looking at my phone, but it's different. So what did I want to talk about today? I guess I want to just talk, and then I'll talk about some music. But I just wanted to talk, and I feel like the handful of people that happen to listen, great. But I feel like I just need to vent a little, not in an angry way, but it's just one of those days. I just feel like I need to get something off my chest. So I figured this would be a good place to do it. Um, so working on curriculum with my colleagues, which I have enjoyed. I enjoy writing curriculum, and I enjoy having these discussions and really thinking critically about history. Um, However, the downside is when you're talking about historical events, that there's a lot of bad things that occur. It's like that negativity of history just constantly smacking you in the face all the time. Like for example, I mean, we didn't get to do it this year because of the quarantine, and we just couldn't get through all the material based on home learning. But when we teach the Holocaust, we would read a novel, and the novel was based through the Holocaust Museum called Daniel's Story. And we would read it out loud. We didn't do this every year. Sometimes they read at home, sometimes we read in school. But the years that we would read in school, you read the same thing 5 times in a day. And the Holocaust, as you know, is not an upbeat topic. You basically would go home feeling emotionally, mentally drained. Um, and I guess you feel such a sense of empathy that it affects you mentally. And that's just reading a book. So I was thinking about these things today, and then when I try to break away from schoolwork, if I'm looking at Facebook or, something, even that, there's just so much negativity. You hear news stories or articles that would like show up on my feed or whatever, and it's all around us. And I know that's a reality. Maybe a long time ago it was just TV, or maybe it was newspapers, whatever it is. But so as I'm sitting outside, I'm just trying to think about the positives of going on. Um, like the fact that I'm looking at these 2 huge gaps that used to be brown that now actually have grass in it. So I'm pretty excited about that. But being able to just sit outside is such a nice feeling. But I know that I feel like if I can see all this negativity, and I feel like it has an impact on me when I feel like I have coping mechanisms to kind of counteract that type of negativity, whether it's talking to a friend on the phone, having a good laugh, watching stand-up comedy, looking at pictures, whatever it might be. I don't know necessarily if you guys, and not the adults obviously, but the people, my students and stuff, have ways of coping with that stuff. So I was thinking, John Lennon wrote a song called Imagine, and it talked about, imagine what the world would be without greed, without hunger, without all these issues, right? No war, people getting along. It'd be such a great feeling and a great world. And I think it's all that idea of hope, right? You have to have hope. And I find that young people they have that. We teach you guys skills to help you deal with life. But it's your innateness to see the good is what we need from you. So here is an example. You watch enough negativity in the news, you become very jaded. You're like, oh, everything's terrible, it's horrible. And then you get a message, and the message says, I wanted to let you know my daughter was on our school website, an article. And then she sent the link to me. Somebody I went to high school with who lives in town. So she sent me the link. So I was like, all right, I'll look it up. I mean, I was tired of looking at anything bad, so I was like, this could be great. So I looked it up, and I think of when I was 8, when you're in second grade, when I was 8, what was I doing when I was 8? Probably nothing. Riding my bike, playing with my friends, getting dirty. No cares in the world. Now, keep that in mind. So this article, which is on our school website, talks about how a second grader made over 500 masks for people. So just think of the time. Okay, first of all, the person who went to high school with her, the mother, helped her, worked with her, taught her skills, right? So one, let's look at that positive. Passing down a skill. Um, I always hope that, I can pass certain things to my kids, but in that situation, that's a life skill right there. Now, in order to teach that skill, it requires time, right? So I think of the time that you spend with each other, valuable time is really important. And so she took the time to teach her. She took the time to spend time with her, right? Um, and the reason why I say that is because in today's society, a lot of times we're always like, we're so busy. We don't have time. I have work to do, I have this to do, that to do, and I'm definitely guilty of this. So I right away, that's the first thing I'm thinking of. She taught her how to do this, and she taught her the time, and she was willing to say, okay, if you want to do this, I will put forth the money for the supplies so you can make a difference. And then this kid learned to make a difference, and she's in second grade, okay, 8 years old, maybe 9 at this point, but 8, 9 years old, or 7, 8 years old. I mean, I never did anything like that when I was young. And here's a kid who is potentially saving lives, right? Or helping save lives. I just think it's so amazing. So you see stories like that, and it keeps you hopeful. It keeps you inspired. And, there needs to be more of that, okay? More of those positive stories, because I think everybody deals with issues differently. And some people who are really good at it, they're good at coping, they're good at coming up with strategies, compartmentalizing, all that stuff. Even they crack occasionally, and they just need to be hopeful about something. So for all you young people out there, you gotta, as Whitney Houston said, the children are our future. Well, you're here, you're it. You help inspire us. You help keep us hopeful. We try to teach you things, but don't think for a second that you're not teaching us things, because you are. And the reason why I say that is because I was listening to a song by Maroon 5 called Memories. And I don't know if I said this already. I tried making this video a bunch of times, but he talks about people who are no longer here, and that you can't be with them, and it's that the whole song is kind of about that. And I think of my mom, who I would go to for advice, who was very artistic and crafty, and I never took the time really to say, I want to learn from you. So now she's gone, and I don't have that skill. For various reasons, even my father is a jazz musician. He's been playing a long time, very talented. And I never once said, I want to learn how to play the piano. I didn't see that as something I felt like I wanted to do. But now that I'm older, that's another skill that I missed out on an opportunity. So I'm also saying it as, when people are not available or not around, I'm not talking about they always have to be passed away, but they're just not available, you don't have them necessarily to help you and teach you those skills. So for all my students out there, or former students or whatever, if your parents want to teach you a skill or teach you something, like, take advantage of it and learn, because it's not the skill in itself that's of value. It's the time spent learning it with your family member. I remember kind of a while ago, I guess, my kids and I, or maybe it was just my daughter at that point, we went and picked apples with my mother-in-law. And we went back to her house, and we made apple pie. And we have a picture of it, and that's a memory that, that my daughter will remember. And then I remember, because I'm like, she took the time with my wife to do this, to make a pie. So a lot of times we see things as chores and as work. When learning those things and spending those time together, it's not that. It's taking the time to appreciate the people in our lives. And I feel like today's video is definitely a kind of a downer, but I just think of all these historical events that have occurred, and people have sacrificed a lot. And your parents, and they sacrifice. You just don't know it. It could be maybe more hours they put in working. It could be that, instead of spending on themselves, they spend on you. Instead of taking a bigger meal at dinner, they take a smaller one so you can have seconds. Like, there's all kinds of things that parents do. So just have an appreciation for people. And I know I say this in so many videos that it's really important to tell people how you feel, um, because I think the more it's kind of clicking with me. Here, I give you an example. It's very important to me that people don't hate. It's very important to me that people show compassion, right, and empathy for others. And my boss had always told me, when you teach things, you have to teach them overtly. You have to be like, this is exactly what it is, because you don't want to leave any area for interpretation when it's something that's so important. They should know it, right? And so I'm overtly telling you, spend time with your family, right? Take the time to show them how much you appreciate them, because there's really not too many things more powerful than telling people you love them and that they matter to you. And it never gets old hearing it. Never, ever, ever gets old. And when I think about that song, Memories, I think about people who are no longer here, whether it's grandparents, parents, relatives. It could even be pets. When those people are with you in your life, you have to just appreciate the moments, because time moves very quickly, right? I don't know. I think I'm just having one of those days. I'm just very, I don't know. I always say it's my sentimentalness coming out in my old age. Now I'm getting closer to 50, which I can't even believe it. But if you happen to even be watching this in the summer, when you come back in the fall, school's going to be different. Even I have to sit and appreciate the things of how school used to be, and I have to be hopeful that school will be like that again. So we can't get stuck in the negative. So, and I'm saying this because this is something that even I as an adult have to deal with. And the reason why I'm telling you to try to be hopeful, because you got to have hope, right? You need to have hope, you need to have love, have compassion, all that good stuff. So tomorrow I'll try to come back to the music thing. I do appreciate you listening to me today, if you did in fact watch it. I felt like I just needed somebody to talk to today. So please, please, please listen to the words very carefully. Tell people you care about them. Tell them you love them. Tell them they matter, because you matter. All right? So you have a wonderful day, and until our next check-in, peace out.